All right. All right. So welcome to Pre-Coaching Friday. Let me just, the screen looks a little weird. Hold on. Okay, maybe better. I don't know. I got my Colts shirt on. Indiana Jones. Yeah, baby. Let's go. I don't know how many football fans are on here. But awesome. Welcome. LATSGO, Spirit Fingers. Let's make it happen. First, I just want to give you a heads up before we get started. We are next week. Get ready to 10x your sales because I'm kicking off the 10x your sales challenge. And you can learn more at higdongroup.com/10x. One thing that I'll tell you is if you get the all access pass, that's you getting 5 hours of group coaching with me. And it's ridiculously affordable. I promise you that's the most affordable you'll ever see that. What we do is we do 30 minutes with everyone on how to 10x your sales. And then we spend an hour with All Access Pass. And we do that Monday through Friday. It's a 5-day challenge. And you can learn more again at higdongroup.com/10x. higdongroup.com/10x. All right. So anything else? Thank you for all the anniversary wishes. We just had our 14-year anniversary. We were at an amazing country concert last night, stayed at the Hard Rock Hotel over in Hollywood for a couple nights. And so excited to see you guys on here. All right, let's start with Claire. Claire, what's happening? So what's the one question I can help you with?
Well, I'm going for 6A in my business this month, and I'm super excited. I didn't get to see you at Elevate, but I had a second of coaching with you on Louise's call a few months ago. And one of my friends, Dawn, told me that when you coached her, you literally said, "Can I pray for her?" And you hit the nail on the head for what was holding her back. And I just recently read through some things that I felt were holding me back, and I didn't know whether it was a distraction or God had called me to do it, or if I was the leader that I needed to be. But I'm wondering, if you could pray, because she said it was very impactful.
Yeah, cool. Let's do it. We're starting fast. So yeah, and so like when I pray for people, she might have told you, I always say, don't give me context. Let me just, because I have to rip context out of my head, because I'm just praying, and I'm just like, hey Lord, what do you got for me? And so we're gonna, give me 1 second here. Okay. 1 second. Okay. So I'll say that it's amazing that you are about to hit 6A. You've probably had to really work against your mindset. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I've never really hit the top ranks in any of the companies I've
been in.
I wrote my thesis on this stuff like 30 years
ago. Let me tell you what it is first. So, and I talk about this. Where is my books? I'm just getting home, so I'm kind of discombobulated. I talk about this in Faith Driven Wealth. So Faith Driven Wealth kind of describes, there's one chapter in here, it's called The 21 Reasons You're Broke. And in that chapter, I do talk about agreements. And so not everyone has one, but they're never positive, but you can actually purposely set one for yourself, which is kind of cool. So an agreement is not something you agree to, it's something you agreed to. So I hesitate to call it a strongly held belief, because it's not, it's kind of above that. And hey, Thomas, can you mute anyone that I'm not coaching? Thank you. Or I'll do it. Oh, muted. Got it. Okay. And so it's not something you agree to, like you're not going to consciously be saying this, but it's something you agreed to. And I've found, at least I've never found an exception in doing this with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, is an agreement was set either in childhood or maybe early teen years. And so the agreement is it won't last. And so if you have that kind of, that's a fairly common one, but if you have an agreement of it won't last, you would have this language in your head, you would have this inner dialogue that would make it very difficult for you to go all in, because if it won't last, then that's illogical. And if it won't last, it would be unethical to pump people up about it and bring people in. Does that resonate? Yeah. And so here's the good news. You don't need 30 years of therapy. We can pray. God will remove it. And it's awesome. So, okay. He's been teaching me some new stuff lately. So give me 1 second here. Okay. All right. So Father, we're so grateful for you. Father, thank you for your presence. Father, thank you for breaking off the agreement from Claire of it won't last. Thank you for breaking off that agreement right now, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. Some people feel it, some people don't. But what you will absolutely notice, and again, I've done this with hundreds of people, is you'll notice a much, much lesser kind of doom and gloom inner dialogue. And so I have a feeling that with that less amount of negative internal pressure, I think you're going to crush that rank. Yay. Awesome. You got it. You got it. All right. Darlene, are you able to come on camera or no? Kind of funner if you're on camera. No? Darlene, you with us? Darlene, I don't hear you. It looks like you're unmuted, but I don't hear you. Okay. Burleson, are you able to come on camera?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I was trying to, my boss, well, not trying to insult anybody, but I'm really bad with the tech. So he asked me if to make sure if I'm a millennial.
Okay.
At times, he's like, I was doing the whole like, yeah, it's really bad the other day on our call. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to thank you so much. I'm so blessed to be here. I did purchase one of your other containers. I spoke to you before recently. It was wonderful. But anyway, I joined recently, got an invite. Now, my quick question is just when you're going through a season where you're like you've been driven and motivated before in the past, but something's just like where you just, I don't know if it's like you need rest but it's like you're not feeling the motivation, and then you feel kind of guilty about not doing more. And like what would your advice be, or on that situation?
Yeah. So just I think it's helpful to just understand neuroscience, right? We'll never feel like doing things we haven't been doing, right? So like if I take 3 weeks off of working out, I guarantee you I will not feel like working out. And the neuroscience behind that is, as we, nerve cells that fire together wire together, right? So if I'm doing, that's Hebb's law. If I'm doing something or thinking a certain way or acting a certain way or feeling a certain way, the body starts to get those traits in every cell. And even as cells die off, they inherit the traits of the past cells. So we'll actually never have an emotion of feeling to do something we haven't been doing because it's been flushed out of our system. And so that's the, crossing the river of change is you going and riding the bucking bronco to go and do the thing you don't feel like doing because you haven't been doing it. And so it's perfectly normal. I think some people think that some people feel like prospecting and some people don't. And it's, well, you'll only ever feel like doing stuff you've been doing. And so the key is, it's kind of like, we used to make a shirt probably a decade ago, and it was, one day or day one, right? And so it's, if we wait for, hold on, I got a problem here. Give me 1 second. If we wait to feel like it, we will not do it. That's just not how it works. And so it's, you can identify what actions do I need to be taking and at least take a little bit of action, right? You won't feel like doing it. Don't get me wrong. There is actually no scientific way for you to feel like doing something you haven't been doing. But what you can do is say, you know what? I don't feel like doing it. I'm going to do 5 minutes of it. And, I don't feel like prospecting. I'm going to prospect 2 people. And so just you doing that, just you showing up to the gym, all of a sudden you'll start to build those, that neurotransmitter stuff that, okay, now I'm starting to actually crave it. Right. And this is why it's so difficult. Probably, one of the most difficult things for people to do is stop beating themselves up because they've been doing it for so long. They're actually chemically addicted to it. They get a rush in their system when they beat themselves up because their body is so craving it and so used to it. And so that's just how it works, right? Whatever we do consistently, we start to crave doing, even if it's not to our benefit, even if it's not helpful to us. And so we just got to, have that wherewithal to say, okay, I don't feel like doing it. I'm going to do a little. Okay. I don't feel like doing it. I'm going to do a little bit more tomorrow. I don't feel like doing it. I'm going to, you know what? I actually kind of feel like doing it. And so pretty soon you can build that. I need to feel like it to do it. But in the beginning, that's impossible. No one can. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was kind of interesting where you took it, because in my head, I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'm just in a season of rest, but you actually spoke to me on something that you're right. It's waiting for the feelings, right? Sometimes,
yeah. And
but the action brings the feeling, right?
Yes. Yeah. The action does, and everyone agrees with that. You look at, we just saw Tony Robbins, 2 days ago. He agrees with that, right? Action creates emotion. I spent 2 years with Joe Dispenza. He agrees with that too, right? Like, so I'm not aware of anyone that disagrees with that. I think everyone, agrees with that. Now, on the flip side of that, some people, some people burn themselves out by just working all the time, without, just nonstop. And I think, part of that, if someone's faith-based, it's kind of a lack of faith. Like if I have to work all the time, every hour of the day, then where exactly am I trusting God? And so, it just depends on, on your beliefs. There are, like this week when I prayed on, every week, every Monday I do a prayer journal, and I'm like, all right, Lord, first I find out what he's doing. All right, what are you doing in these areas? And, I get the answers, sweet. So I know what's growing. I know what's being refined. I know what's going away. It's very nice. And, but I always ask this one question: what are we working on this week? And this week it was, I got this. I'm like, oh, nice. Okay. And so it's just been an amazing week. I spoke at an event Monday, Tuesday, and then, Wednesday through Friday was to today was our anniversary, and we just hung out, and I didn't really do much. Yet there was a lot of movement in the business. It was awesome. I had, brought on a new client. We had made some good sales. It was great. And that definitely wasn't my focus. And so, yeah, there's such a thing as times of rest, if you're getting that. But, I would, if you're getting that, then, stay and rest. But if you're asking me how to get into action or feel like getting into action, that's the answer. Cool.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Is this helpful, guys? Okay. Darlene, are you able to rock? You able to get on camera?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yay.
Do some changing around. I was on a night when I was perfectly fine. I was straight up.
Mm.
I'm still think I'm hanging upside down. I'm not sure. I have no idea what happened.
Mm.
I've been on the computer.
Mm.
So
Are you able to get on camera or no?
I'm trying to figure out. I've got a laptop here that I'm not as familiar with. That's what I
Okay.
have to go to.
All right. You can ask me your question if we can't figure it out. I just can't spotlight you.
I know. Tell me what thought would put my. I feel stupid here. Sorry. I shouldn't put myself down.
In the bottom left, there should be a video button.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
No. It's just, it's not showing. I just could see it.
There you go.
Upside
Yeah, you're upside down.
down. You want me to be upside down? I have no
Keeps it
idea.
interesting. Someone's watching this and they're like, "What's going on?"
I kept the camera off. I'm thinking, Lord, what happened? What's going on?
That's all right. We've had these days. All right. So what can I help you with? What's your big question?
I don't know if I can handle it.
Okay, you can turn it off. That's fine.
Do you mind?
Sure.
You've already given me two amazing words that have been amazing for me. I don't even know. I got the book down. But I'm not used to a laptop. That's the problem.
That's okay.
Old fashioned. I prefer I'm a typist there. Sorry, I had a choice. Okay.
All right. So what's your question?
I just want to thank you so much. It's more than just a question. I just want to say thank you. And I know I did one other time, but I really appreciate, because I've been disconnected from you for a while and I'm getting more financially stable, because I still want to go on and take more stuff from you. And I'm going to buy that book you were just talking about. So
Cool.
I'm getting every month it's improving. And I know you're a big part of that. I know that every morning, not every morning, but almost every morning, I used to journal all the time anyway. But you got me back into journaling like on a morning. I'm doing what you're doing. And it's been amazing for me. It keeps me focused for the day. I know what I have to do. And so.
Awesome.
Yeah, so thank you.
Great.
Bye. Maybe somebody else who can help.
Oh, no question. Oh, okay.
I just want to say thank you because
Cool.
I'm for this today.
That's nice.
Out of town, so.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Okay, let's go to. Okay, we just did Darlene. Let's go to Aaron. What's happening?
Hi,
Hey, Aaron. Good to see you.
good to see you too. So my question is, I am trying to get my ducks in a row on I'm very not tech savvy. And I'd like to make videos for people who might be looking at my business and also for my teammates that are in the business and teaching them how to do things. What is the best place to make the videos to put in either a YouTube, a Facebook group, and also on YouTube?
Okay, so there's two kind of questions here, and one is pretty fairly easy to figure out. The other one is much more in depth. So there's tactical and strategic, right? So the tactical is how to do something, right? Like how to record a video or something like that, and you can I mean if you would you have a Mac or a laptop?
So I
Mac.
want to be able to like share my screen. Like I watch
Yeah.
people do these things all the time. I
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. I'm like, how do they do that? How do they share on the screen? How do they put a video in?
Sure.
I just don't know how to do these things.
Yeah, so you just Google, how to record a video on a Mac, and it'll walk you through. So that's the tactical. That's kind of the easy. And you can ask, because there's so many people out there that teach tactical. The strategic of how should my video be is very different, right? And so that's not a quick answer. But as far as just recording a video, on a Mac. I forget, what is it? I mean, I usually use StreamYard because that's easy for me, but you can Google and it'll walk you through that. And if you do you use ChatGPT at all or no?
I do.
Yeah. ChatGPT will give you, I mean, it'll give you even more nuances. Because I would also, so I would say, okay, I'm on a Mac laptop. How do I record a video for a presentation? And then I would say, hey, in this presentation, I want to blank. I want to present my business, which is blah, 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 blah. What are some tips you have for me around the actual, recording? I mean, I have trainings that walk you through like slide by slide. But you can, I mean, ChatGPT will give you some suggestions. Does that make sense? Anything technical, just know, like, one, I'm not a technical guru, that's for sure. But there's so many, walkthroughs on YouTube. There's so many, you can just, how do I record a video on my Mac laptop? I guarantee you there's, videos on YouTube that will walk you through what buttons to press and all that. And so,
put all the videos in one place. Would that still be a Facebook group? Would that be on YouTube, like in the private area where you don't put it up?
Who's it for? Is it for prospects or is it for teammates?
Both. So some will be for prospects, some will be for teammates.
So teammates, this will, not everyone will agree with me here, but I always liked putting stuff for team on a YouTube playlist because it would also intercept people searching for the company. I got signups every single month from that. And so because, YouTube is a search engine, social media is not a search engine. So, I would upload the team trainings up to YouTube, and then sometimes, I mean, I got them every month. Someone's searching that company and they find my training. They're like, "Ooh, I want to join his team." And so, they would reach out to me and I'd get them on board. And so as far as for, prospects, you just, you could also do, YouTube, for that too, but you would probably post it multiple places. You'd probably post it in a Facebook group. You may perhaps your Facebook profile. You may even drive people, invite them to a webinar or a Zoom. So there's a lot of different options there. Yeah. Cool. Helpful.
Yep.
Yay. Awesome. Okay. We got Henry back at it, my friend. What's up? Can you jump on camera or no? And feel free, if you're on the Zoom and you have a question for me, feel free to raise your hand. All right, here comes Henry. Here we go. Why can't I?
You can hear me now.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Hello.
All right. Now remember the rules, Henry. You get one question, man. I got to get through people. What's your one big question?
Okay, so I'm on the road right now doing tip that you gave me like a month ago about just doing videos. So I'm doing that. Like I'm trying to do, like I'm prospecting every day. Like I'm starting from scratch. I started one a day and then I'm up 3. This is my 3rd week actually. So I'm having a bunch of leads. Am I wrong, or I don't know how you were doing when you were giving them a call and then they would see the video and they would be interested in, a lot of people say that they do need money. I try to dig in and at the end, it's like they don't want to do anything about it. Am I wrong if I want to just skip them and just go and find that one person that actually wants to do it rather than staying stuck at one person that's in between here and there, doesn't know and isn't sure? Do I invest time in with them, or do I just, if they say no and is still debating whether to do it or not, keep going to find that one person that actually does it?
So it's a good question. It's a good question. I do think a lot of people spend too much time on the wrong person. I do, but you have to believe in possibility more than probability. There are people that limped into the business that maybe weren't the highest of desires, but ended up falling in love with it and making millions of dollars. And so we don't want to judge someone for where they're at or even who they are when they join, because I've seen it. I've seen people that I'm like, yeah, I don't know about this one. And then they go off and they crush it and they make it rain. And if I would have, just not been diligent with them, then I never would have saw that growth. And I have a lot of stories like that where someone comes in and they're, they just don't seem that hot to trot. They don't seem that high desire, but then something catches them or something in their life changes. They get laid off or they all of a sudden have something new. And there's even, I'm curious, those of you on here and those of you on stream, how many of you came into your business and you weren't really that high desire, but you became high desire and you became successful? Because we have, my friend Holly over here, she says that, that was me, right? And Danielle says yes, Jody says yes. And so there's multiple people saying yes to that. So we don't want to, it's kind of a balance of, we don't want to judge anyone and say, beat it, kid. I don't think you're high enough desire, get out of here. We don't want to do that. But yet we also don't want to spend forever with somebody if they're just not making a move. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we want to be good at asking the right questions, balancing our time, being postured to bring people in and giving them a chance. And I've also seen it, by the way, because remember, you're not just reliant on that one person. I have absolutely seen it where a dud brings in a stud, right? I've seen it where someone comes on board, they get their friend in and they never do anything ever again, but the friend becomes a diamond or the friend becomes one of the top earners. I've seen that over and over and over. And that's just what's possible inside of network marketing. You don't know. So I'll give you a great story. So I had a friend that she came to me and she said, "Hey, I see what you're doing, Ray." This is when I was obviously, building a network marketing business. And she said, "I want to be a part of it. Just money's real tight. I'm a hard worker. Will you pay my way in?" And I just don't pay people's way in. I just don't do it. You got to have skin in the game. Like if I pay your way in, then, you're going to crumble like a cracker anytime anyone says they don't have the money, because you also didn't have the money and someone paid for you. Right. And so she came, she said, "Will you pay me?" I'm like, "I won't pay your way in, but you know what? Talk to my friend Lisa over there. Lisa might, she might do something for you." So she gets with Lisa and they decide they'll split it. So, she comes up with half the money, Lisa fronted the rest of the money, and she comes on board. Now, already, does that sound like an amazing success story? Doesn't, right? She's like, she's just limping into the business. The next day, she got me on a call with the guy. And as soon as I got on with this guy, I'm like, oh yeah, I just knew. And this guy was out of Sacramento. This guy had built Amway. At one point, he was making $800,000 a year in Amway. He had quit 25 years earlier, and he was still being paid over $10,000 a month. Okay, and so he joins, and I don't know exactly, because it was our back office was kind of hard to track, but he put in at least 10,000 people, not personally, but his team grew to over 10,000. Now, if I had judged this person, right, and be like, "Oh, they don't even have the money to join," you see what I mean? So we don't want to judge people on how they enter or even their level of desire, because we don't know who they know. They may introduce us to a stud. We don't know if their desire will change, which happens for a lot of people too.
Okay, so
Cool.
Okay.
So just manage your time, right? Lead them, have posture. Don't let them spend don't spend a million hours trying to pull teeth and get someone, going. But, be diligent and, be the best closer that you possibly can, asking the right questions. Why is this important to you? Why do you want to change? That sort of stuff.
Okay. Yeah, because yesterday I'm a first person that was kind of on the verge. He was like you said, limping in, and he didn't give me like a concrete answer. He said within the beginning of next year he's going to be able to have more time to do it. But I was like digging in time, and especially him not having time. He wanted to have time with his family, so I started digging in, and he was still giving me excuses until I pulled the card. I'm like, okay, well, I'm trying to help you out, get more time, and at the end of the day, if you want me to help you, I said something, I don't remember. I said something that was kind of with posture, and it's like I pulled away, and I was going to hang up. He pulled forward and said, "Hey,"
That's how it works.
and he was like, "Hey, but listen, instead of scratching me off, give me a call." And then I ended up saying to him, "Okay, if you're going to join in January, I want to build you a check so you can have at least something before." And I told him I don't really do that to everybody, just so he can get what I'm working. And he said, okay. He said yes, and he's willing to like start like that. But like I said, that's the reason why I answered, because the rest of the people I've been calling, they just been saying no. They tried it before, and they just don't.
So I'll give you two things for those of you who are having people delay, those of you who are saying, "Hey, call me after the holidays," right? So like, there's two things you can do with that. All right. When you know their pain, you can say, "Hey, if you don't do this, how will you overcome that? If you don't do this, how will you make more money? If you don't do this, how will you have more time with your family?" And so what it does is, it draws is like, oh, because if we don't draw attention to they don't have a solution, then they may think that they have all these different options when reality is they don't. And so if you don't do this, how will you solve that? Whatever that is. Okay. So that'd be number one. And then number two is if someone says, "Yeah, I definitely want to join, but reach back out to me in a month or so. I just got to clean some stuff up," or whatever. This is what I would say. I would say, well, hey, listen, if you know you want to join, it makes sense to join sooner, not later, because we can start building that residual income right away. Now, if you're not sure, and I purposely warp my voice, I warp my words, I make them very flimsy, very weak, very wishy-washy, very right. And so listen to my tone. Hey, if you know you want to join, it's better to join sooner than later. We can start building that income. Now, if you're not sure, look, I drag it out. If you're not sure, if you're just kind of thinking about it, if you're not positive that you want to move forward, then hey, take as much time, as you want. We invest a lot of time training you, and we want to make sure you're not just dipping your toe in the water. But if you know you want to join, see, I'll double it. It'll be like a bold sandwich, right? So it's, if you know you want to join, it's smarter to join sooner, not later. We can start building that residual income. Now, if you're not sure, you're still thinking about it, if you're just kind of kicking the tires at this point, then take as long as you want. We actually invest a lot of time training you, and so we want to make sure you're not just dipping your toe in the water. But if you know you want to join, it doesn't make sense to wait. It's better to join sooner, not later. So that's the 1-2 punch for that kind of objection.
Okay, so
all right,
the tone. So I'm going to rewatch this.
Yeah. All right, you got it, man. Very nice, Henry. We're rooting for you, Amelia. There she is. You're muted. You're muted. There we go.
I was just wondering what my identity verse was.
All right. Now you're going to have a bunch of people asking me. It's okay. All right. Because I've given it to you before, right? But maybe you think it changed. Okay.
Yes.
It does change from time to time. Okay. So it's 2 Corinthians 5:17. Do you know that one?
No, I do not.
2 Corinthians 5:17 is those of you who are with Christ, you're a new creation. The old has passed away, the old is gone. So if that's your inheritance verse, not identity, inheritance verse, then what God is telling you is to let go of who you've been and step into what he's calling you into. So that's good. That's a good thing.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Awesome. Okay. All right. We'll go to Allison.
Hey, is it working? Can you hear
It
me?
is. Yes. Hey.
Great. New to all this. I'm the teacher, 38 years, just retired, so jumping in, this is all new, and I'm like a squirrel all over the place. And I've been reading your books, listening to podcasts, I love it all. But if you could just one thing, work, so I can focus in.
Okay. So the first, the first thing of change is, the very first thing is awareness, right? Like you're aware, right? So you're aware that you're distracted. So that's step one. Step two is language. And so, it's, are you faith-based or, if you're reading all my books, you probably are. So, Old Testament is Proverbs 18:21, death and life's in the power of the tongue. New Testament is Matthew 15:18. It's not what goes into your mouth, but what comes out of it that defiles you. And so what we speak, we are creating. Okay. So when we say, I'm all over the place, I'm like a squirrel, I'm super distracted, we have to be that state. We're unable to escape that state as long as we're speaking us into that container. And so we're always speaking our version of our identity for that season, and it comes from our language, and whatever comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart. So we believe it. So it's just very powerful when we speak it. And so, and I know, the answer is always, well, Ray, I'm just telling it like it is, man. Well, telling it like it is perfect if you want to keep it like it is. So if we want to keep something a certain way, then just keep speaking it, right? I struggle to lose weight. I struggle to focus. I struggle to make money. Keeping money is hard. Like anything you want to keep the same, just keep speaking it, and it will solidify it, and it will remain the same always. And so we have to change the way that we describe it first. And so when we are fresh to this, and because it's not just about speaking, like, neuroscience is, when we have a thought, it's in the neocortex. There's a neural network for everything in your life. You have a neural network about your career, about yourself, about your spouse, about your computer, whatever. When we have thoughts that we accept, surrender, and believe, that's when it gets passed to the limbic brain, which is the chemical brain, the emotional brain. And that's where we create, those emotions. When we don't accept, surrender, or believe them, then it's just empty words. It's an empty thought. So this is why most affirmations don't work. That's why, if someone says, I'm so happy I'm a millionaire. Yeah, right. It just doesn't work. We don't accept, surrender, or believe it. So when you're fresh to this and you're trying to make that change of, I've been describing how things have been and how they are, but I don't want them to be that way any longer. We can change our language to say things like, in the past, I struggled with focus, but I'm so grateful I'm getting better. See, that's speaking creation. Like that's speaking life into us. And so with that kind of speech, we have the at least opportunity to grow. If we're not doing that, and I see this all the time because, like there's so many, I get to speak at a lot of events, and I'm grateful for it. It's awesome. They're wonderful. And someone will attend an event, have a breakthrough, and they're like, Ray, I just want to talk to you for a second. I'm like, oh, okay. And they'll say, Ray, I've been really struggling with taking action. And I'm like, why are you describing the person prior to attending this event? What's the point? Like, why are you describing that person? That person was 2 days ago. And so like, you don't need to describe that, right? You were just given, a shot. You were just given a caffeine shot. And so like, just describe what you want. you know, prior to this event, I really struggled with action, but I'm so grateful for this event and I'm excited to hit it hard. Like that's speaking power. Like that's awesome. And you know, when we saw Tony Robbins, you know, a couple days ago, one thing he said, I taught this in Rank Makers the next day, is everything is hard when you're trying. Okay. So when people say like just notice the body language here. Yeah, I'm trying to get better. You know, I'm trying. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to rank advance. I'm trying to make more money, right? And so it's it's we've already failed at whatever we're saying. Whatever we're saying, we've already failed. It's already registered in our body that we ain't gonna make that thing happen. But if we say, I'm going to make this happen. I'm going to get better. I'm going to, you know, that's infinitely better. And we can say that with confidence. You can't say I'm going to try with confidence. You can't. Like I've tried it. Like I can't do it. I'll just crack up. I'm going to try to make more money. It's just weird. Like I can't hold my, you know, shoulders back and head back. You know, I can't do it. You know, for me to fall into the, you know, the trying mode, it's this weak, limp, you know, just not powerful mode. And so in the past, I struggled with distraction. I'm so grateful I'm getting better and better. And, you know, and then obviously, you know, from there, it's like, okay, what am I going to do today? And so you pick, you know, in the beginning, if you haven't been doing anything, pick 2 to 3 things. You know, just like as a teacher, you were very organized. You know, you had certain things you had to cover each day and certain rituals, and you just, okay, I know how to do this there. I think I know how to do this here. And so I'm going to, you know, reach out to 4 people. I'm going to follow up with 2. I'm going to, you know, read 20 minutes, you know, whatever that looks like to you. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you so much. I've been walking the block reading your book, and people are stopping me going, how are you reading his book and walking at the same time?
Yeah.
So I appreciate it. Love the
That's
podcast.
impressive. Oh, good. Awesome. Appreciate you. All right. We're rooting for you. Okay. Let's see. All right. Belinda, what's happening?
All right. I wasn't going to say anything, but with you to the last lady that you spoke to about saying or speaking in a negative way, I have a problem about it's negative already. I'm saying if somebody says to me, I'm helping somebody at the moment and they are using a lot of money, which I don't have. So that's what I say all the time. I don't have any money. I don't have any money. Every time I find myself, I'm saying, I don't have any money. And I know I'm not supposed to help me find another thing to say about I don't have any money. Because I actually don't have any money. So I don't know how you change this. Can somebody help just to change the way you say that? Because you know, yet there's always somebody said in the one thing that I don't have any money for this, but something which you really want to, you find, I think it's you that said that, yes, can you use your credit card or, you know, that, so I remember that sort of thing, but I don't know how to say it differently, and it's almost like it's, I can't get it out, so you can just give me something else to say.
So you're saying you're saying for yourself, not for prospects, or for yourself.
No, this is for myself. Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
So there's a lot of different, you know, these kind of hacks, right? One is you can think about, you know, what are all the things that you are abundant in, and you can get ridiculous, right? You know, and so you saying, I'm so I'm so happy and grateful that I'm abundant in dishes. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm abundant in pencils. I'm so happy and grateful I'm abundant in change. I'm so happy and grateful I'm abundant in candles. I'm so happy and grateful, right? And so just, you know, and you can set any current issue language-wise, you can set in the past. In the past, I struggled with money. I'm so grateful it's getting better and better. See, that's not like a direct lie. Like if you said, I have plenty of money, that wouldn't be helpful because you don't believe it. But if you are constantly saying, you know, hey, I'm I am abundant. I'm abundant with friends. I'm abundant with technical knowledge. I'm abundant with, whatever you come up with your list. And so one great exercise is, take the time to and time yourself. See how fast you can get good at this, and write down what are 100 things you're grateful for. And so when we just change, right? We change when we get into gratitude. When we get into gratitude, we have more things to be grateful for. And this is Mark 11:24. When ye pray, pray as if you've already received. So it's, I'm so grateful it's getting better and better. I'm so grateful that my finances are changing. And one thing that, when you're really on the path, God wants you to see him as your provider. And so, in the book, Faith Driven Wealth, which I believe you have, in the book, there's, 21 reasons you're broke. What is the 22nd reason? And the 22nd reason is if God wants you to fully embrace that he's the provider, because James 1:17 and John 3:27 says that we can't get a result unless it's from him. And so if he wants you to really get that, he may have your money absolutely flee from you until you get that. Ask me how I know. And so it's, there's several, suggestions for you, but you're absolutely right in that you don't ever want to say that. You just don't want to say that. You can, if you have to say something like that, you say, in the past, I struggled with money. I'm so grateful that's getting better and better.
So just really practice it. Just keep saying it the right way around.
Yeah. And I liked, there's a million exercises like this, but no, I don't want to give you this one because I think I don't want to overwhelm you. What I've given you, I practice that.
Okay, I'll do so. Thank you so much.
All right. You got it.
Somebody put some comments in there. Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Okay. My computer keeps freezing up. I don't know why it's doing this. Okay. All right. We will probably finish with Kendall, if I'm saying that right. Is it Kendall? Is that right? All right. Awesome. All right. How can I help? What's your question?
So I asked you a question also at Lacey's event, Evolve and Elevate, which was very, very helpful. But what you just said made me want to ask you a question because you said God won't give you blessings he gives you blessings or whatever. And I've been doing this business for 2 years. I haven't made any money from it. And so it makes me wonder, am I not supposed to be doing this? Does God not want me to do this? I just started believing in God 2 months ago. But my question is, can you maybe tell me maybe an agreement that's holding me back? Because I feel like that's maybe the next step into kind of unlocking the blessings or whatever.
Yeah. And, I have to be careful here, right? We're not earning blessings. Okay. If we have to earn blessings, then Jesus didn't do enough on the cross. And so we don't earn blessings. I know people think that all of heaven's favor is attracted to the Christ in us. That's why we have favor, not because of what we've done, because of what he did. However, there are things that if they're holding us back, I'll give you an example. So I haven't talked a lot about this publicly, but I had what I discovered was a directive. And a directive is an unconscious, unspoken energy or directions for others to follow and for me to expect. So it's kind of it's like a two hook kind of thing. And so my directive was abuse me. So what would happen is I would get into, and it's not like it was immediate, but I would get into a business relationship and I would help them and they would make lots of money and it would be awesome and we're all happy and everything. But then eventually they'd turn on me. And I had this happen so many times. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why does this keep happening? And so when that was revealed to me and I prayed and God removed that, I realized I'm like, you've held stuff back from me so I didn't screw it up, haven't you? Yes. So he actually kept some doors shut because if I had walked in with that directive, it wouldn't have gone the way that he wants it to go. And so is that, does that mean I earned the favor? No, it doesn't mean I earned the favor. I just discovered something about myself that needed to go. And so that's different, right? So I didn't earn the favor and now doors are, flung wide open. It's he helped me realize what I needed to get rid of so that I could powerfully walk through those doors. And so, but let me pray about you here. I prayed for you at the event, didn't I?
No.
I didn't?
I just have you a question. No.
Okay. All right. He's so amazing. Like, I didn't know this, but you have a directive, and like I don't share that story very often, and so that's just how he operates. I got nudged to share that story. You have a directive, and so hold on, let me get because it's always very specific, right? You'll get this story. So it was pretty cool. This lady came up. I won't share names or anything. Okay, at one of the many Enagic events that I've spoken at, so that'll make it harder to guess. But this lady came up to me and I prayed about her, and she had an agreement of they'll let you down. Now, when I talk to people, I say, don't give me context because I have to rip that out of my head. I can't. If I have context, then my logical mind will try to answer it, and I just want to pray and get the nailed perfect accuracy. And so I said, okay, she had an agreement of they'll let you down. And I said, with that agreement, you would have thought that uplines would let you down, but you also would have thought that people you bring in would have let you down. So you probably aren't building the business, and you probably would put yourself in some kind of safe place that you can only rely on yourself. And she was like, I'm not building the business, and I started a water store. I'm like, that's perfect. and so I didn't know any of that context, but that would make sense, right? You would put yourself into safety. And so that, no one lets you down. You're not, that's what you would do. That's just how it would operate. And so let me get your directive. Okay. So again, the directive. Now, a directive, unlike an agreement, does not have to come from, it could have come from adulthood. Agreements come from childhood or early teens, at least to my knowledge, unless you set it on purpose. You can actually set one on purpose. And so so directive is twofold. It's this unspoken energy that you're pushing out to people, right? You're not saying this to anyone, but this energy is going out. It's, almost like the person that's really, really, really worried about being cheated on. They're probably going to get cheated on, you know what I mean? And so like, there's this pushing out of energy of how to treat me. Okay. And then the second fold is you would have an expectation, and the expectation, I don't know if they get created at the same time, but because you would have a long line, you would have a long list of evidence of what I'm about to share. So I don't know, is it the long line of evidence that would create the expectation, or are they created at the same time? I don't know that. I'm not sure. And so the directive is use me. And so you would probably have a very long history of people that used you. They used you, maybe discarded you, they used you, and when you needed them, they weren't there for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, again, like agreements, the good news is we don't need 30 years of therapy. We can just pray and remove it. So, Father, we're so grateful for you. Father, thank you for your presence. Father, thank you for being here with us, Lord. Father, thank you for breaking off the directive from Kendall of use me. Thank you for breaking off that directive right now, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. So, okay, what'll happen? Well, you'll no longer be sending that out, and you'll have a much, much lower internal dialogue of expecting it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so that's a good thing. Yay. Very good. Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. All right, kids, I'm going to get out of here. But remember, next week, we're kicking off our 10X Your Sales Challenge. If you want to learn more about that, it's higdongroup.com/10X. higdongroup.com/10X. This will be the second time running it. The first time was awesome. I mean, we had so many people that had big breakthroughs. It was really, really good. And remember, if you get the all access pass, you're getting 5 hours of group coaching with me for less than $100. It's insane. It's crazy. My goal with that is obviously to help you have a breakthrough. And also, I'm always looking for that person that's playing big and wants personal mentorship. And so some of you will maybe become, our sales and marketing mentorship people or group coaching or, whatever. And so there you go, higdongroup.com/10X. I appreciate you guys very much. Have an amazing weekend. Go Colts. We play early on Sunday. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. See you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye. Bye.